It's episode 1277, and it's the Relevant Podcast. Here in Orlando, I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and joining me from Loverland, Virginia, it's Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
From Nashville, our managing editor, downtown Emily Brown.
Hey, y'all.
Happy holiday week. Okay, I got to say something. Emily and I have been looking at our YouTube. You know, people have been watching the show, and it was so weird. And Jesse, you have a lot more experience in the YouTube podcast world than we do. But we'll put a new episode up, and we'll notice day 1, 350 views. Day 2, 580 views. Day 3, 9,000 views. Day 4, 28,000 views. Day 5, 53,000 views. What in the world, first of all? And this isn't like, oh, this will happen on one show. This is like all of our shows every week. It is like day 3, all of a sudden people, and then the algorithm goes, oh, people like this, and they start showing it, and numbers go bonkers. So I can't say, hey, everybody, happy Thanksgiving, because you guys are probably watching this 4 days later than when I would have said the greeting. So I don't know what to do. Jesse, is this something that is just unique to us, or do other people experience this?
I think my theory is that the people behind the YouTube algorithm make it intentionally impossible to try to completely figure out, and they change it all of the time to keep people guessing and not have any one person manipulate the system. I think
so now they're listening to this, and now they're going to punish us. Thanks a lot. Now they're mad at you.
I'll say this: they have very thin skin. They're very self-conscious people.
We're just gonna bleep that out.
Their self-esteem.
You just got a shadow band. What are you doing?
Their self-esteem is incredibly low, and they're vindictive. And harming people makes them feel better. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. They're really into vengeance culture. You know, settling scores.
But isn't that weird though? Like, because for me, I'm going, okay, the new show comes out, because with our audio edition, 80%. No, that's not true. 70%, 60% of the downloads happen that day, like the day it comes out. So we can say, like, hey, this is what's happening this week, whatever. Yes, there's a long tail of people like dabbling with that episode later, but bulk is pretty quick. YouTube, we've just seen the exact opposite. Do
you, and this isn't to get too much in the weeds, but are you like A/B testing headlines and thumbnails and making tweaks midstream? Because a lot of time that plays a big role in it too.
So I've done both, thinking that, yes, I was A/Bing everything at first, and then I was seeing this delay, and I thought, maybe that is causing the traction to be delayed. So there have been a few that I've not done any A/B. We just ran with the one thing, and we saw the exact same kind of like slow burn and then a shoot up. It's really, really odd. Yeah. I don't know. I just, again, I am hey, it's the week of this, and let's talk about the thing happening tomorrow. And it's just like, oh, and YouTube, that probably is not a good strategy.
But I also don't know that people care. Like, I think people, especially people who listen to content on YouTube, right? Like, I think there is the expectation that if you're not watching something live, like you're not watching a live stream or something, then you know that this is going to be a retroactive perspective on something, you know? And I don't know that people really care. I think it doesn't seem... I don't know if they mind it being dated if the content's good and it doesn't like undercut the point of them listening, right? So like if you're doing a pod like about the predictive outcome of like a game or the you know, where Bitcoin's going to be in a week or whatever, I think people care and they won't listen, right? If that event is of substance. But if it's just something that like, oh, they recorded this a week ago, I get it. I think people are used to it, you know, especially kind of in the post-Twitch world, you know, where it's not live, it's not live.
I thought you were going to say people don't care because it's like the holiday season. And so like what even is time? Like I feel like this is the time of year where I never know what day it is or like what's actually coming up. And that's why people don't care.
I can tell you based on how many deadlines she's missed this week that is absolutely
she stopped
true.
Caring.
Yeah.
Well, it was just 7. Okay. It's not that big a deal.
No, but here to underscore my point, there are whole YouTube channels that make podcasts about podcasts. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there are channels that just will listen to popular shows and give their take on that show like 4 days later, you know, and cut little highlights from it. And that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if like the retroactive or the retrospective aspect is that consequential if it's only a few days,
My thing though is like, I don't want to do like a Thanksgiving game if the majority, because Thanksgiving in particular, the minute Thanksgiving meal is over, you're thinking about set up the Christmas tree, Christmas music, Christmas. You don't want to watch a podcast playing a Thanksgiving game when you're 4 or 5 days into the Christmas mindset, right? Yeah. So that was kind of a little shift of like, oh, okay, maybe we should do a holiday themed.
Yeah.
Hey, this
keep
is
it
called
ambiguous. Yeah.
I'm foreshadowing that we have a holiday themed game coming up later. So
it is funny that Thanksgiving feels like the only holiday around this time of year that you only think about it for 1 week. Like Halloween, I feel like you think about it maybe for a few weeks leading up to it because you have to like plan your costume and everything. And then in November, you don't really think about Thanksgiving. I mean, I guess you make plans, but like you're not really in like a Thanksgiving mindset. But then December, I'm in a Christmas mindset. Like I'm watching those Christmas movies. I'm putting up Christmas light. Like, I don't know. It's interesting. Like people don't care about Thanksgiving.
Well, I don't know if it's a stopgap. And if I think let's be real, guys. It's a bit of an obligation. Okay. You're either traveling, you're hosting, or you're popping around town, going to meal. And when you're there, it's delightful, right?
And if it's like, well, let's get to the true meaning of the holiday, you kind of don't want to peel back that onion. You know what I mean? Like it's
a lot of Thanksgiving. And I'm not speaking from this is a broad. I'm not speaking any personal perspective, but I feel like I know enough people and I have enough friends and everyone talks about their Thanksgiving. For a lot of people, it's conflict avoidance time. You know what I mean? Like, how can I have an elaborate meal without it blowing up into something, And I think once people get through that, then they're like, all right, we're going to coast on into Christmas. This is where things get fun. Christmas, I'm going to do on my terms. Thanksgiving, you're kind of on everybody else's terms, if that makes sense,
At what point, though, does it switch? Because I agree with you fully. And it's like, okay, growing up, Thanksgiving was the obligation. You're there with the relatives and your parents. You have to do the thing. And then, when you're young, married, it's still kind of the parents kind of drive the car. When does it become our holiday? That we're the ones, everybody has acquiesced to our desires, our plans, our whatever. Like, when does it flip that you become the focal point of Thanksgiving?
That happened for me personally, that was like 10 years ago. It's like that Nate Bargatze thing where it's like, well, I guess I'm in charge of the family now. Yeah. That was a hard shift where it's like,
see, I think it's because I'm divorced. I never inherited the I'm in charge of the family.
Yeah.
Because he can't even handle one marriage. He can't handle all of ours. So
it's a lot of pressure. We hosted last year, Thanksgiving at the house with people coming in town. We had, we have like even some like elderly neighbors. So we have family from all over. It's a lot. And I don't even know.
Did you initiate or did an elderly relative say, hey, we would love to see you?
They wandered into the home. No, we initiated. They didn't have anywhere to go.
I'm hosting this year. Please come join us.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have any place to go. You know what I mean? I don't say that to be like, oh, look at it. I'm just saying like we had a lot of people. Right. Mm-hmm. And, okay. I don't know if I said that. I don't know if I even told this story last year. It's probably too traumatic, but we have a tremendous amount of people at our home. Right. And Dana has meticulously planned this incredible meal. And I have one job. Right. And it's the only job that I really felt qualified for, to be quite frank. And that was to handle the backyard turkey frying. We had a very large bird, and my job, all I had to do was put this thing in a vat of boiling oil in the backyard and make sure no one gets hurt. Okay. That was it in one job. And have you guys fried turkeys before?
No, but I've seen all the local fire department videos that they put out and say, please do not do this.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it is. You have a vat of very flammable oil on top of an open flame. Okay. And then you drop a frozen 30-pound piece of meat in there. And hopefully the grease doesn't spill over, igniting the flame in your backyard. This ain't my first rodeo, okay? I've had it get a little sideways, but I felt pretty confident this year. So I fill up this silver vat with, and this is the same, it's my trusty turkey frying implements that only get used like once a year, okay? So I dump this whole vat of this thing of cooking grease and oil into the vat of, it's like this. Imagine a big cylinder container. And I'm going to put this on an open flame. So I get it all prepped. I go out there, pour it out. And, at this point, I'm putting on some clothes that I don't mind if some flaming hot grease splashes back at me and burns a hole in. I don't want to be out there in my nice Thanksgiving stuff. So I go back out there and I notice that the vat is now empty. There is no more oil or grease in it. And I guess because I had left it pretty much unattended in the shed all year round, and then cleaned it the day before, somehow little pinholes had developed in the bottom of this thing, and all of the grease leaked out. So not only did we not have any oil to boil the turkey in, we didn't have a container to hold the oil, and this was the only way of cooking that turkey on Thanksgiving.
Wait, is this when you had to go to Big Lots on Thanksgiving?
Yep. Spread it over to Big Lots.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to jump to the end, but I was remembering there was an emergency that the last second you had to go to Big Lots, which is open on Thanksgiving of all places.
Listen, I was in such a frantic mode. I couldn't even Google stuff. It was just blindly driving, looking for shopping centers. Okay. Like, what do you even go? Like, what's open on Thanksgiving? You can't trust it. All right. I'm flying down the road, like down the interstate, looking at exits. Like, does that shopping center have cars in it? I ended up
looking for the cars. That makes sense.
That was the only reliable way. I got a house full of people hungry, and there's no turkey. Okay, we needed a Thanksgiving miracle here. I did find the grease. Okay, and I was in Big Lots, and I'm looking at stuff that is meant to hold like giant potted plants, and I'm like, I don't know what temperature this thing is rated for, but this is going to be our best shot here. Like, it's going to get wild this year. I didn't have a choice.
You bought just a metal cylinder from Big Lots, not an actual like frying apparatus?
Well, I did. I ended up returning it because thankfully the neighbor behind me had an extra one. I should have called him before I went searching through town. All that to say, incredibly stressful day, incredibly stressful time. And Thanksgiving's a lot, man. And I think there's a reason in the hierarchy of it is like a milestone on the way to Christmas, where you kind of coast into Christmas. A lot can go wrong on Thanksgiving, but I do recommend the frying method. It adds a little of excitement to the day, a little 4th of July, action where anything could go wrong, a little thrill seeking. And it's a juicy bird. I'll tell you that. It cooks all the way through,
Juicy bird.
Wait, Jesse, are you going to be hosting again this year?
Just the elderly neighbors. It's only them. No. I'm traveling to New York this year. And I don't have to be responsible for anything. And I think that's the main thing the family wanted to avoid was me being responsible for any aspect of this.
Let's remove him from the state so he can't.
He has to be physically removed from proximity to the dinner in general. And so actually the family's having it at my house. They're sending me to New York just alone.
You're going to a solo trip. Yeah.
They said, why don't you get out of town? Why don't you do some Black Friday, some Christmas shopping? Yeah.
Cohen and I are going up to New York in a few weeks. The weekend before Christmas, actually. We're going up to do our annual Christmas in the city stuff we have enjoyed doing, so that'll be fun. Okay, well, we have a great show coming up. A little more relaxed. It's if you're listening to this when this comes out, it's Thanksgiving week and people are chilling around the house, and you're watching YouTube on your phone. We're spending the holidays with you. It's just the three of us today. No guests. Derek is in a lot of meetings today. Marty is. What was Marty's excuse?
He had to take his car to the dealership.
Okay, there you go. So,
his family sent him to New York to just go ahead and clear some distance between now and the holiday.
So they're not on. We have slices. And then at the end of the show, we do have a holiday edition of One Has to Go. But stay tuned right now after this quick break. It's Relevant Buzz. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Mercy Ships. Globally, 5 billion people lack access to surgical care. In sub-Saharan Africa, there's only one surgeon for every 200,000 people. Mercy Ships provides free, life-transforming surgeries for people who have little to no access to medical care. They help the blind see, straighten twisted limbs, remove deadly tumors, treat cleft conditions, and so much more. With state-of-the-art hospital ships, they provide safe surgery to children and adults living with treatable conditions, and it's completely free of charge. They do all this work with an all-volunteer crew of professionals who donate their time and talents.
surgeons, stewards, nurses, engineers, and more make the world a better place. Your donation today provides free, safe surgeries to people in desperate need of help. All gifts are matched, so please donate today at mercyships.org/relevant.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Tim Tebow's book, Look Again. Have you ever wondered what would change if you truly believed you were infinitely valuable to God? In his New York Times bestselling book, Look Again, Tim Tebow reveals the powerful truth that when we learn to see the image of God in every person, including those we struggle to love, everything changes. Tebow shares incredible stories from his work with people the world often overlooks, and it will challenge you to stand up to the lies, rediscover the worth that everyone has, and impact the world for good. Find Look Again by Tim Tebow, available now wherever books are sold. Okay, it's time for
Relevant Buzz.
Tell us what's happening at the intersection of faith and culture this week, Emily.
Okay, well, last week on Slices, y'all remember we talked about that AI country song that went viral?
Yeah. Derek brought it for Slices.
For Slices,
the number one song on the country charts was an AI artist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have kind of an unfortunate update. This past week.
Did it die? You said it in a way like, I'm sorry, they passed.
The AI artist sadly
passed away.
The AI succumbed to the pressures of fame and couldn't handle it.
Resigned its role January 5th. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
No, this week, an AI generated artist went number one on the Christian songs and albums chart.
Okay, but this is iTunes, though. So this is the paid songs. This isn't Billboard.
Yes.
The other one was a Billboard hot list. This is, you and I, we all know, like the iTunes payment charts are a little different, but still
notable. Still
notable that the top two songs and the number one album on the iTunes sales charts is an AI artist.
People were paying for this, or someone was paying for this.
Yeah, somebody based in Bangladesh or whatever. You see that on X now? I don't mean to interrupt your thing. Have you seen?
Yeah.
So X over the last week quietly added on the profile page of an account the country of origin, the country that the account is operated from. And it turns out, I mean, I don't want to overstate, but hundreds of very influential MAGA influencer accounts are from Russia and Pakistan and India. And they're like true American and like living in America. And it's like, these are not Americans. And the Department of Homeland Security, the official government DHS account, is operated in Israel.
Yeah. I think people would be, well, maybe not, but I think they would be shocked if they knew how many people that they are likely interacting with, even if it's not direct interactions, that what they see is boosted in the algorithm because other people are engaging with it, is manipulated by foreign actors via elaborate psychological operations meant to sometimes just with the simple outcome of sowing discord and sowing distrust in major institutions as sort of a long play. But it is what it is. Maybe this is one way to kind of expose that a little.
I agree. I am all for this level of transparency. Because like we're talking about charts and Emily and I and Derek, I mean, we talk about this quite a bit. It is so easy to rig the charts. Like when you look at Spotify and I mean, think about like this whole Drake lawsuit of like, he's suing Universal for like boosting and rigging Kendrick's diss song about him. Like, I was like, well, what is that? What it turns out was like they pay labels, artists pay these countries, these bots to like go in and artificially listen to the songs, therefore boosting the songs. And then, the algorithm does its thing. And so, but they pay like to have a hit song, you pay $500,000 to these farms to just do fake listens, and it rigs the charts in a way. And then it actually like momentum. Spotify started to delete all these like accounts, and all of a sudden, like Doechii just came out of nowhere, and like 9 months prior, she had, I'm going to misstate, but it's something like 70 million plays a month. And then when Spotify did the big purge, she's all of a sudden not in the top 20. She's like 2 million plays a month. And like all of a sudden it starts to get exposed that some of these like artists that like become big artists out of nowhere are manipulated, and that's paid plays, right? And so, but you look at the iTunes charts, you could easily rig that. You can rig any of the charts are rigged.
Well, you know, I told you guys a couple weeks ago that audio series, that docuseries I worked on called PSYOP, and the first person I talked to about was this woman named Frances Haugen. She's a former executive at Facebook, now Meta. The Social Network 2, I think it's called The Social Dilemma, is based on her story. Mikey Madison plays her in the movie. Her name's Frances Haugen. And the reason that she kind of became a notorious figure in Silicon Valley was because she was assigned to Facebook's counter-espionage team during 2019, 2020, when everything was getting really crazy on a bunch of different fronts, and noticed just how prevalent all of these like troll farms were in their ability to sway the American opinion on major things, from like election stuff to vaccines to COVID, and like, you know, ended up testifying before Congress, and that kind of led to her departure from Facebook. But the thing is, like, beyond just the commercial stuff, there was a group called the Internet Research Agency that was founded by Yevgeny Prigozhin. Now, that name, he is the guy who founded the mercenary group, the Wagner Group, that ended up getting paid by the Kremlin to go fight the Ukrainian war on the Russians' behalf during the early days. Remember, he marched on Moscow at one point and tried to overthrow the Kremlin, and died in a helicopter crash, kind of under mysterious circumstances. Prior to him starting the Wagner Group, he started the Internet Research Agency, which basically would take foreign operatives and train them in how to use troll farms to do basically what you're saying, you know, sophisticated agencies are doing for music charts and book selling or whatever it is, to do like social unrest campaigns. And this is so sophisticated that it is crazy how it's allowed to happen commercially and socially, you know?
You know, they call it the dead internet theory that, you know, 70% of what happens online is not authentic. And it's like, the more you learn, the more you look, it really is true. Hey, kudos, say what you will about X, since it's left being Twitter, but kudos on this change, because like, I love this transparency, because we need to start exposing the bad actors and like seeing truth for what it is. And just everybody who's online, just don't believe charts. Just don't believe. Just know that if somebody's benefiting from this thing being number one or whatever, they probably have financial incentive.
That's the thing. If there's an incentive, then there is a way that someone will manipulate the outcome to be able to achieve whatever that incentive is. You know,
that's right.
So we had posted about this on Instagram, that this artist, Solomon Ray, his album Faithful Soul went number one. Is it a
his or is it a it?
Well, so the moderator for his account,
See?
Pronouns. Okay. We can't get into that.
Does AI have pronouns?
I don't know. I'm stressed now. Anyways, Solomon's moderator commented on our Instagram post, just saying that, you know, they were glad for the coverage, but they wanted to kind of open a conversation about how to use these new AI tools, you know, for God. And so some of the artists actually responded to him, like No Big Deal and John Keith. I will say John Keith mostly just wanted to like troll him and was saying that he was like preying on his downfall, which I thought was very funny. But No Big Deal was actually trying to engage with him, and he asked him about like, did you like, are these organic listens or did you pay for them, and how much does the label pay for them? And Solomon's moderator says that he didn't pay for them. Now, you know,
well, the other thing too, and that may be true, but the other thing too is who is buying iTunes songs anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
Who? Literally. Very few people. That's what I'm saying. You can rig. Perception is one thing, but you can be number one if you and 50 of your friends bought a song. You know, like,
right.
Like, it's not that hard to be number one for a minute, and then once you're number one, then people out of curiosity, you know, whatever. That's why they do it.
But the thing is this. Oh, go ahead.
I was just to say, I could totally see somebody wanting to get this attention and saying, I'm going to put $1,000 behind this and get headlines. And they did, and they bought all the songs themselves.
But look, as has been priorly exposed, this is the same tactics, different methods is what happened in the publishing industry for a long time, particularly in the faith space where, pastors could convince their own churches to purchase a certain number of copies of their upcoming book to basically rig the charts and then resell them in the bookstore. So it looked like, it sold 20,000 copies. Not
even that. The church
give them away
would buy it and then put them on all the seats, and you'd get a free copy of the pastor's new book. And now he has a #1 New York Times bestseller because the church paid for all those copies.
Yeah.
I'm with
you.
I
love how distrusting this podcast is turning.
It's not distrusting. I would
step away from Rogan here.
No, but except this is verifiable. Like this.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Everything's true, which is yeah.
Don't believe anything on the internet, people. Oh, man, we are veering into conspiracy world.
Except for what we tell you. You can believe us.
You can believe us telling you to not believe other people.
But if you see someone trying to goad you into some sort of rage bait on a social media platform and you can look at where they're located, maybe that should be a clue as to whether this is something that should actually outrage you or something that should probably just be ignored.
Totally agree.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Something else that made headlines last week was that Kristen Bell was not too thrilled to find out that her voice was being used on a new religious podcast from Fox News. I don't know if y'all saw this going around, but on Tuesday, Fox News had announced a 52-episode podcast titled The Life of Jesus, and it would have guest voice actors like Kristen, who would play Mary Magdalene, Brian Cox from Secession, who would voice God, Sean Astin, who would voice Matthews, like just some bigger names.
God is Scottish.
Sorry. And when it was announced, Kristen got a lot of backlash from her fans for aligning herself with Fox News because she's been fairly outspoken about progressive issues. Fox News.
So it's not that her fans are mad that she's part of a Bible project. It's that they were mad that she was part of a Bible project from Fox News.
Yes.
And not Fox. It's Fox News.
Fox News specifically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she got a lot of backlash for this. So then about a day later, a spokesperson for Kristen told Rolling Stone that the audio that's being used for this was actually recorded 15 years ago for a completely separate project. Zondervan made a audiobook of the New Testament, and they had these voice actors on reading scripture. Fox News bought that content and is repurposing it for this podcast.
Well, Fox News owns it. So this is what was crazy. I can't believe that this is actually what happened, because when we got the press release about this Fox News podcast, I thought, that sounds like that audio Bible that Zondervan was working on back in the day. That's crazy. Yeah. It's like the same actors and everything. That's wild. And then it turns out it really was that. It went from Zondervan to, I think, Ignatius Press. Is that right?
Yes.
And they're all under the umbrella of Harper, which is owned by Fox Corp. So like this massive umbrella, it's almost like when they cross promote a Disney theme park on a Fox show or something, back in the day, TGI Fridays. It's like all these different tentacles of the same organization. So they have this project from 15 years ago with actors who are now famous and probably more famous than they were back then. And Fox News says, we would like to re-release that as new content.
Look, I'm sure the actors were off-put by I could get how it's like, well, dude, I did this a decade ago. I didn't realize it could be repurposed and relicensed. And evidently someone said, no one even told me about it.
Right.
I get how that could be off-putting. But I will also say the person that is managing that IP library, had to because those things change, to your point, Cameron, they change hands all the time. There's all these mergers and acquisitions that in media, these content libraries are just tossed in a lot of times. So, there's someone going through I wonder what we got in this old, Ignatius Press content library, audio content library acquisition. And they found a Bible with Kristen Bell and they're like, guys, I got a podcast idea.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Like the produced podcast serialized thing. I mean, it wasn't a thing 15 years ago.
It's a great idea.
We're sitting on it. Yeah. We've rerun old articles. I mean, we didn't rerun them under a different name. I mean, I get it. Go back in your catalog, see what you can dust off.
Yeah.
See if it's still relevant.
It was when I was kind of figuring out what happened. My first thought was is that legal? But It is legal, yeah, because Fox
of course
News, they can do what they want with it.
And I'm sure it's buried in the contract deep down. We own the IP. We can do whatever we want with it, and they just sold it to themselves.
It is bold of Fox, though, because I just think, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where, like, Kristen is on her faith, and I don't know where Brian Cox is on his faith. So it's like, do I want Brian Cox to be the voice of God? Because, like, where is he at? I don't know. Like, you would think they would want voice actors who are also Christians. That's just me, I guess.
Can I have one? I want you guys' opinion on one or two scenarios here. One, this was like purchase, repackage, and I'm like, listen, it's going to cause the whole thing. Just don't tell the actors. It's ours. We can do whatever we want with it. Or do you think in sort of the confusion of like, oh, we got this content library, we're going to repackage it, we release, no one realized that they were the one that was supposed to call out Kristen Bell and telling this was happening. They're like, oh, I thought marketing was going to call her. Oh, I didn't you think publicity was going to call her agency? Or like, I thought it was a legal thing, like, what do you think, knowing how media companies work, for one, what do you think is the more likely scenario, that they purposely did not engage any of this talent, or it was like full steam ahead and everyone kind of thought, oh, maybe someone else was reaching out?
I think it's the former. I think they knew what they were doing and didn't care.
Better ask forgiveness and permission sort of situation.
100%. That's what happened. Yeah. Okay. Last thing for Buzz. I'm sure y'all saw it, but Nate Bargatze announced this week that he is officially moving forward with plans to make his own theme park, and it's going to be called Nateland.
It's a true story.
Yeah. I know he's like, you have thoughts? Because I know this is something he's like kind of teased for years, but it was also sort of like, this is just a dream that I've had. Cameron, knowing Nate's trajectory, knowing his appeal, having seen his last tour, do you think, what are your thoughts on just the concept of Nateland?
Well, here's the interesting thing. I know the people designing the park and had breakfast with them on Monday. Yeah. So I know the full story of how it all happened.
And it's weirdly Avatar themed.
The whole thing. It's just one big space fantasy. So
what a zag that would be.
I know the lands and everything. I've seen the renderings. It was on their phone, but I've seen it.
Very dark. Very dark.
Very, very dark. It's not homespun Americana. It's very out there, very edgy. Yeah, it's all Amsterdam themed. So when he was, kind of coming up in the comedy ranks, and it was like 10 years ago, he and his wife moved back to Nashville from New York. His comedy friends said, yeah, that makes sense, because there's no comedy scene in Nashville. Yeah. So he was kind of wrestling with it. And they're like, no, it makes sense that you go back there, because you're not a New York comedian. You're not an LA comedian. You're like everything in between, the kind of Nateland. So the comedy friends named Middle America Nateland. Yeah. And that's where he belongs. Right. And sure enough, I mean, that's what happened. So this kind of name playfully was in his head of Nateland. And so then he would use this term Nateland over the years. And this then became a thing that, as a joke, like, we should do a real Nateland, like Disneyland. And what would that look like? And it just became this like ongoing joke. And then some real investors were like, we like that idea. We want to support it. And then it was like, wait a second, this joke could be real. And so like he then found with some backing, interviewed a bunch of different design firms.
And went with the one that did Game of Thrones. And here we are.
And Peter and Mel McGowan own Storyland Studios, and they're Christians, and they have a division of there's several divisions under their thing, all innovation, tech, theme park experiences. They've done a lot of stuff at Disney, Universal, but they've also done churches. So they have a division that like designs churches and stuff. And so it's all story based and like movement of emotion and people and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, Nate's team was interviewing all these firms, found guys that were Christians, shared Nate's values. They have an incredible resume. So
that's why it's all the more baffling that it's entirely warlock themed.
And the warlocks win. That's the thing. Yeah. It's not the fight of good and evil, and good wins. Evil wins. It's like
warlocks and dragons come out on top in every little nook of this
every
park.
Ride. It's like you leave crying. Every ride you leave crying.
It is very upsetting.
Disturbing, even.
So they last week here in Orlando, they have the annual IAAPA convention, which is for like all the theme parks and attractions all over the world come together and see all the new ride tech and blah, blah, blah. I actually went last year because these guys were like, hey, we're going to be in town. You should come through. And they got me
be
tickets.
Honest? That sounds like the incredible setting for like a Christopher Guest movie. The amusement park.
You see the new mascots.
Yeah.
You see the,
you know,
dude, I was playing like I was playing brand new video games because it's like all the Dave and Buster's. They go there to buy all the new game tech and everything. So like literally, you're just like riding little rides. You're like, it was actually a super fun.
But couldn't you see a Christopher Guest movie like at that convention? You know?
Yeah.
Or even just a theme park in general. I feel like he could have a lot of fun with people who are
like a local, regional, smaller, struggling, older theme park. Yeah. Anyway,
that sends someone to the convention.
At the event last week, they announced, hey, we're partnered with Nate and we're doing this thing. Timeline, I don't want to get ahead. I'm not going to convey a lot of what he told me off the record, but it'll be several years before it's realized. But it'll be in Nashville. It'll be a half-day park by my assumption, like size-wise. But it'll be very well done. These guys know what they're doing. And Nate's got some big backers and it's real. So it'll be a few years, but good for him, man. He's living my literal childhood dream. I literally, at 8 years old, wrote a business plan for Cameron Enterprises where we were going to do book publishing and theme parks. Literally, I had like a little sign and merchandising and products and retail and stuff.
I think it's more precious that 8-year-old you dreamed of doing book publishing.
Yeah, it's family.
I mean, I get that's like your parents and stuff, like your family business, but
it was a lonely childhood.
I was an only child until I was 12. Had to fill a lot of days. Was merchandising my toys in the back porch to set up my retail concepts.
This explains so much.
Back then, like at that age range, there's a book publisher named Harcourt Brace Jovanovich. They did like textbooks. They bought SeaWorld. So that was my frame of reference, that you could build a very boring book publishing company and then use the money from that to buy a theme park. So that was why my little kid brain was like, you could do both. You make your money doing the boring thing and then you spend the money on the fun thing. So anyway, that's what Nate's doing. That's what Nate's
8-year-old you being aware of a book publishing acquisition is really... really something.
Once again, we're getting really peeling back the onion here. A lot of things are adding up. So,
thanks a lot. I admit that I was a nerd. That's fine. I don't mind that. That's fine. Anyway, Relevant Buzz. There's a lot more stories like that over at relevantmagazine.com. Go check out what we're publishing every day. Follow us on all the socials too. Thanks, Emily. All right, stay tuned. Up next, we'll do a quick slices. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by John Mark Comer's book, Garden City, a book that speaks to the tension we all feel between work, rest, and purpose. The New York Times bestselling author John Mark Comer takes us to the scriptures to identify what it really means to be human and flips the script on the idea that who you are matters, not what you do. He shows that God created us for meaningful work and meaningful rest. Both matter. This book helps you ask and answer the big questions. Does God care where I work? Is there a direction for my life? So you can discern God's heart for your calling, your rhythms, and the way His Spirit wants to shape every part of your life. If you're longing for purpose and a more grounded way to live, check out the new hardcover edition of Garden City wherever books are sold.
Well, today's show is brought to you in part by the new book, God, the Science, the Evidence. We talk a lot about faith, but how often do we talk about science in the same breath? You might be surprised to discover just how deeply the two actually agree. For centuries, science has been used to dismiss the idea of God, but today an intellectual revolution is underway. Modern discoveries in physics, cosmology, and biology are consistently revealing the same truth: creation isn't an accident. That profound reversal is what engineers Michel-Yves Bolloré and Olivier Bonassi investigate in their international bestseller, God, the Science, the Evidence. This book is a rigorous, evidence-based critique of materialism, inviting you to explore over a dozen scientific, philosophical, and historical domains. It shows that what was once seemed impossible, that science could point to a creator, is now supported by a vast and convergent body of evidence. With over 400,000 copies sold in Europe, this book is sparking a global debate. It's thoughtful, fascinating, and a powerful reminder that reason itself affirms the existence of God. Learn more and find out where you can purchase your copy today by visiting godthesciencetheevidence.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Erwin McManus's book, The Barbarian Way. Some books don't just inspire you, they confront you. The Barbarian Way, now celebrating its 20th anniversary, is one of those books. If you felt the pull of God towards something deeper and wilder than the safe, predictable version of faith that we settle for, McManus reminds us that following Jesus was never meant to be tame. It's meant to awaken courage, passion, and purpose God placed inside us. He draws from the wild stories of Abel, Noah, Moses, Rahab, and others to remind us that following God wasn't meant to be tame. Safe faith isn't working. Step into the story God is writing for you. Choose passion, choose boldness, choose The Barbarian Way. Available now wherever books are sold. All right. It's time for
Slices.
See, before I even say what do you have, Jesse, I'm still aware. I'm like, I have embarrassment from y'all making fun of my childhood nerdiness. Y'all are just mean.
You can cut it out.
I mean, we all, I will say, I think like all of us ended up in depression because we probably had some sort of nerdy obsession when we were kids.
Jesse was the cool bully athlete kid.
Yeah, my
that
obsession
made fun of all
was,
these little book publishing kids.
You know, sports all-star teams and stuff. You know,
having friends.
Watching
siblings.
Saved by the Bell and The Simpsons and shows like you guys weren't even allowed to sniff.
I was allowed to watch Saved by the Bell. I could not watch The Simpsons because he had a bad attitude and he disobeyed his parents.
No, my dad was thrilled when I turned 4 and I could start watching The Simpsons with him. So I think Jesse and I had similar upbringings.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of guardrails, for better or for worse.
Anyway. Slices. What do you have, Jesse?
All right. I'm going to do a twofer because in my mind, I hope these two are related. Even though they happen in different places, I can't prove definitively that they aren't connected to each other.
Okay.
The city of Carmel City, the Carmel City Council, this is a city in California, is going to be the first place in California to permanently ban pickleball. Now I will say this is in the,
you're gonna move there and get a second home.
I love it. Long story short, they have a public park. People hate pickleball mainly because of the noise. I don't feel like it's noisier than basketball or tennis. I just think I
don't think of it as a noisy sport.
I think people just associate the noise with lameness. It is not only is it the lamest of racket sports by a large margin, which is saying something because this is a category that has both badminton and ping pong in it. It is preposterously popular. Like it is such a lame sport that I'm glad to see the citizens and the representatives in Carmel City stand up. And they did note that this is not a temporary ban, that the lawmakers, this is permanent. Pickleballers are not welcome there permanently. Find a new city. I just like the message it sends.
Listen, I had a conversation. My 72-year-old uncle and his family were visiting the other night, and we were at dinner, and he was talking about he plays tennis.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, do you play pickleball? Like thinking,
no,
you're the target demographic for pickleball. He goes, no, that's for old people. I will only play that when I can no longer play tennis. And he's 72 years old.
Thank you.
And he looks down on pickleball.
As he should. Yeah. And there's also racquetball and ping pong for you to graduate to. Okay.
Yeah.
Pickleball. My opinions are well established and are quite frankly completely verified through just watching even a minute of the sport. It is incredibly lame. So that happened, and then in Missouri, this happened. A judge who would frequently wear an Elvis Presley wig to court to quote add levity and relax litigants. Is going to be suspended, and then he'll be allowed back for 18 months, and then a non-revocable resignation will go into place where, his Elvis antics, they're just not looked, they're not looked well upon. It was, I'll say this, it was a sort of animated wig choice. It wasn't subtle. It was sort of cartoony and plastic. And he admitted that this was a mistake to do this for years. But I like to think, one, I got no beef with this. I think once you're a judge, the whole point is you're in that position because we respect your judgment. If you think there's a good, valid reason for you to dress as an Elvis Presley wig to court, who am I to question you? You're a professional judge. Your judgment is the reason you hold that job. I like to think that somehow he was connected to this legal decision to permanently ban pickleball in Carmel, California. Now, I'll note that this Elvis Judge was based in Missouri, but he seems like the kind of outside-the-box thinker that somehow got his judgment to apply in a city in California, far off. I can't prove that they're related, but I like to think that this Elvis Judge's last act of legal maneuvering involved the permanent banishment of pickleball from a remote California town just to send a message to the nation. So good on you, Elvis Judge. Sorry, this whole thing didn't work out in your favor, but you left your mark. And at least he can say that.
Can we share the screen? Because I saw this going around and the image of the Elvis Judge is honestly very funny.
Go for it.
Now, I will say this. Now, I'm reading between the lines here. You know, I didn't see this anywhere, but I would assume, and I think the first thing you guys thought too, is obviously this guy's going to get his own Judge TV show where he is judging, minor civil disputes with his wig on. Now, when you see this guy, would you watch it? It would be on around 1:30 in the afternoon.
Or 1:30 at night.
Yeah. They would replay it twice. One after dark for, different types of litigation. I would absolutely watch that. Why not?
I just wonder why Elvis, did he think about doing some different characters or is he just a massive Elvis fan?
I love it.
He didn't really get into that. And I think the mystery is better left unsolved. I think it's better that no one even asked him, and we all have our own assumptions of why he's dressing in an Elvis wig specifically.
All right. What do you have, Emily?
I just have something real quick. This Long Island pizzeria is going viral because they have made a Thanksgiving pizza pie where they are serving a pizza with sliced roasted turkey breast, gravy, sausage, and apple cornbread stuffing topped off with cranberry sauce. It is $35, and supposedly they've already sold over 500. I need to know, would you guys try this?
No. It's a pie. It sounds gross.
I would, yeah. Dude, let's get adventurous here. Let's mix it up.
So
we already said Thanksgiving's the one that, look, we're frying these birds in our backyards in vat of boiling oil with the elderly wandering around. We can't spice it up with a pie and just get a little wild here. I think we'll be fine, America.
It is in New York, so Jesse, while you're there on your solo trip this week, maybe that's what you can have for your Thanksgiving meal.
He is going with his family. He's not being banished.
But it's funnier to think that he's been banished to New York to go eat this Thanksgiving pie by himself.
By himself, yeah.
That's the excuse they're telling me.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. I would say go check out the site, but we don't have those stories on the site. Okay, stay tuned. Real quick, we have a super quick One Has to Go holiday edition right after this. All right, it's time for One Has to Go holiday edition. So I'm going to give you a list of 4 things. You just tell me one has to go. There you go. Okay. We're going to start with food and drink. Let's see. So Thanksgiving meal, all this kind of stuff. Warm rolls. Jesse, you're first. Warm rolls, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, and gravy. One has to go.
Easily warm rolls. One, you can eat those any time of year, and they're just filler. They're rolls, dinner rolls in general.
Gravy? You want gravy over rolls?
I mean, gravy's pretty critical,
I would argue rolls are more critical.
I feel like if rolls never came out,
there's no rolls.
But here's the thing with rolls. I don't even agree with them at restaurants. I'm not there to eat a roll. Okay. I go buy a roll for like 10 cents at the grocery store.
Hold on. Texas Roadhouse like
That's
the yeast rolls with the butter and the or Cheesecake Factory with the two different types.
I'm literally
of rolls.
getting choked up here. I cannot believe.
you know what else?
What's Olive Garden without the unlimited breadsticks? What are you talking about?
Yeah. You know what's also good? The steak.
What?
Or the meal that a chef made, not warm bread that I could literally buy anywhere. It's just filler.
You and I
You've
are
had some
very
hot
different.
takes on this show.
Yeah.
That is the craziest hot take you've ever said.
Yeah. That I can't wrap my head around what you just said.
The only
I can
reason
wrap my head around Nate Bargatze's theme park being evil more than I could wrap my head around.
The only reason I actually, not to get in more conspiracy territory here, I think the only reason restaurants bring out rolls before the meal is because they know that they're very cheap. Two, if you eat rolls, I mean, they're extremely filling. A roll, it's bread. They know you're going to eat a smaller portion, and the expensive foods they can make less of because you're all filled up on rolls.
And you still leave full and happy.
Yeah. It's all roll.
Counterpoint.
Belly
they're
full of
delicious.
roll.
What'd you say, Emily?
I was just trying to make a counterpoint, which is that they're delicious. So,
yeah. All right, Emily, one has to go. Hot chocolate, hot apple cider, peppermint mocha, or chai latte?
what was the second one?
Hot apple cider.
Yeah, that one can go. I'm not a cider person. It's just
Yeah, but when you go up in the fall in the mountains and you go
right,
to,
and
like,
that's what hot chocolate's for.
I don't know. There's something about fresh hot apple cider, crisp air. It's lovely. Jesse, pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie, or cheesecake? One has to go.
Say it again.
Pumpkin pie, apple pie, pecan pie, or cheesecake?
Oh, that's easy. Pecan. Pecans don't belong in pie. Pecans is a nut that we try to find something to do with, right? No one's just wanting, oh man, I've been craving pecans. They're like, no, I got a mess in my yard. The pecan tree, it's obliterated the lawn. We got to do something with them. We might as well put sugar all over them and put them in the oven so they're somewhat edible. Pecans can go and no one's thinking twice. Let's just be real.
Of all the 20 years of takes, I didn't know you had a hot pecan take. Like you had that one ready to go. You have thought.
Honestly,
about this.
I haven't. But if you're asking me, I'm like, you know what? When am I ever like, oh man, I just can't wait to dig into some pecans. Oh, hey, did you hear about the grocery store? They got some fresh pecans in. No one has said that. Pecan is a yard waste that they ended up baking into a pie to try to market it. That's all pecans are. You ever mess up with a pecan tree? They're a mess. Like I said, they just put them in yard bags and put them on the curb.
Florida. We have coconuts, not pecans. Anyway, Emily, last food one. Charcuterie board, spinach artichoke dip, queso, or buffalo chicken dip. One has to go.
ooh, this is tough.
For Thanksgiving?
No, it's just food.
No.
I think
Holidays,
just like holidays.
gatherings. You have a Christmas party. You're going to put out the dips and the charcuteries.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I'm gonna get rid of spinach artichoke dip.
Jesse's offended that somebody has queso at
That's what I'm saying. I like queso as much as the next guy.
I'm from Texas. Like that was the most normal one to me. Like, of course there's gonna be queso.
At Thanksgiving? Really?
Yeah. Oh,
What
yeah.
are you putting
why not?
cheese on?
Well, I mean, like maybe not at Thanksgiving, but like it's I don't know. I had like a holiday, like a Christmas thing or something like that. We'll make queso.
The after party. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Jesse, watching Christmas movies, going to holiday markets, driving to see Christmas lights, or attending a holiday show. One has to go.
It's got to be the Christmas market. Any opportunity to not have to do some shopping thing, sign me up. Just get it off the board right now. The other ones I can go sit and relax. You know, the other ones are much more passive. You know.
Yeah. All right, last one, Emily. Here we go. Cozy pajamas, cozy blankets, cozy socks, or cozy hoodies. One has to go.
I'm
wearing a cozy hoodie right now.
Yeah,
So-
I gotta have my cozy hoodie. I think it might be pajamas.
Cozy
Just
pajamas?
Yeah, my family, we were never the like, let's all get cute matching pajamas and take pictures. Like that just wasn't our vibe.
I was at Target. I was at Target the other night with Cohen, who's 16 now. And we walked in and they had all the family matching holiday pajamas. And I was like, dude, we gotta. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And he's like, if they have one for Barkley, our dog, then I'm in. And we looked, and they didn't have any Barkley size ones, so we didn't do it.
Maybe next
But I
year.
almost talked my kid into doing matching pajamas with me for Christmas morning. We've never done that before either, so it would have been a
One
joke,
year, my
but-
sister-in-law and I, we got matching robes.
Oh,
That was nice.
That's, you know,
But
that's lovely.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for the holiday edition of
One has to go.
We have a lot more, so probably when more of the guys are on next week, we may dip back into this. There's some good ones. Well, before we wrap up, I just want to mention, if you haven't been catching our Impact Conversation series that we've been doing, we've been augmenting this show with these interviews. They're fantastic. They're 15, 20 minutes long, some heavy hitters, world changers, people making a difference with the platforms that God's given them. And it's been really, really awesome. We have 2 more episodes. One just went up this week. So we have 2 more in December. But check those out. They're right here on, if you're listening, they're in the feed. Just click on them. On YouTube, there's a playlist right there on the Relevant channel where you can watch them as well. So don't miss those. And on that note, we'll wrap things up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
I'm Emily Brown.
We will see you next Tuesday. Depending on when you're watching this or hearing this, have a happy Thanksgiving or New Year's.
Happy
Who knows?
holidays.
There you go. See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. For the latest at the intersection of faith, life, and culture, make sure to check out relevantmagazine.com. And while there, click over to issue 117 of Relevant. The new digital issue is packed, and you can read it for free. If you want our enhanced magazine, as well as ad-free reading at the site and ad-free versions of our podcasts, sign up for Relevant Plus. Plans start as low as $2.50 a month, and it's the best way to experience our content. Find out more and sign up today at relevantmagazine.com.
Relevant Podcast Network. Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.